It's Georgia week. So where are the advantages for Alabama?
You are Locked On Bama, your daily podcast on the Alabama Crimson Tide. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back into Locked On Bama, AHSA Radio Network's Luke Robinson. That's me. Alabama internet legend Jimmy Stein. That's him. This episode is brought to you by FanDuel. We'll talk about FanDuel in just a little bit. I want to thank you every day for being here every day. Thank you, newbies, for being here today. And thanks, everybody, for making us your first listen every single day. You guys are the best. Jimmy, lots to go over. AP poll is out, obviously, and I think that's where we'll start. Alabama drops like 3 spots to number 17. It doesn't bother me because it's irrelevant in the sense that the AP poll doesn't mean anything anymore. It is relevant in the sense that I thought Alabama may actually move up and be able, even with a loss, keep their AP streak alive. Now with a loss, I don't know. So I think it's going to be interesting to see what happens if Alabama were to drop this game at Georgia. And right now, Alabama is a 3-point dog. So what did you think about Alabama dropping some spots in this poll?
Well, it doesn't make any sense that you would not play and drop. That doesn't make any sense. But, I mean, I think we all saw when the USC beat reporter a couple weeks ago was interviewed about her AP top 25 poll, and she explained her stance. I think we all should have lost 100% faith in this poll. There's no reason for anyone to have any sort of angst over this poll. If that's how seriously their voters are taking it, why should we take it seriously? But it is silly that Alabama would drop. I suppose if you're looking for why would Alabama drop, it could have had something to do with Wisconsin, looking so bad in their game against Maryland, which again, I think we make mistakes when we always want to compare scores and compare performances, and Wisconsin must be really terrible. That Alabama win must not mean much. If Wisconsin, what if Wisconsin later in the year beats Michigan? I mean, are we going to go back and look at Alabama?
Fire Luke Fickell?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. I'm just saying, are we going to go back then and compare the Alabama? Say, well, look how Alabama played against the team that beat Michigan. See, that's why you need more games. You need more data. This weekend is huge. We're going to talk about that, how it's huge, not just for Alabama, but for college football in general. We got a real shake-up Saturday coming. But I don't really care, because I think if you beat Georgia, you zoom up the poll. And if you lose to Georgia, you may fall out of the poll, which would be fine. In the sense of this, I think this team needs as much motivation as possible. And if you're 2-2, and you need some motivation that's going to carry you to potentially an 8-game type win streak, falling out of the poll wouldn't hurt my feelings, although I know it would ruin a streak that built many, over a decade to build. But if you beat Georgia, you're in the top 10. Lose to Georgia, and maybe you're out of the poll.
Yeah, I hope. I guess it depends on how badly the loss is and all that stuff. Look, if Notre Dame can stay in with 2 losses and no wins, I don't know why we couldn't stay in. Then I figured we just mentioned that this is the biggest weekend of the year. I had an opportunity, or at least I thought I did, to go to the Georgia game. I'm kind of glad it fell through, because even though I love going to watch Bama play, the other thing I love to do is doing the live broadcast, the reaction broadcast right after, now that we do this podcast. And it's tougher to do when you're on the road. But this weekend is insanity. And the thing that bothers me is that my daughter plays in academy soccer, whatever that is, and she's got what's called the Birmingham Bash this weekend, and we haven't gotten the schedule yet, but I feel quite certain whatever I don't want it to be is what it will be. So I'm going to just have my phone charged and try and keep one eye on her and one eye on the games. But the games this week are just disgustingly good. And, I mean, this is what college football is all about, which means – this weekend will probably end up stinking, but Notre Dame at Arkansas, let me tell you something. I think that one's going to be fantastic. I really do. And I think it's not fantastic in the sense that it's such this monster game, but I think it's such a moment for Sam Pittman. And there's no coach in the conference whose personality matches his school like Sam Pittman does in Arkansas. Then, of course, look, a sneaky good game, Tennessee at Mississippi State. That's just sneaky good, man. That's scary. That's a scary spot for Tennessee, if you ask me.
Anywhere on the road is tough. SEC something like, gosh, I just looked up on the show and forgot the number. SEC something like 37-4 at home now. So going on the road in the SEC is dangerous. I like Tennessee there. I think some of Mississippi State and their success is a little fool's gold. I know they beat Arizona State. I know Arizona State's pretty good, but they're not Tennessee. I think Tennessee wins, but Tennessee's going to know they were in a football game.
LSU at Ole Miss, obviously that one's going to be a ton of fun. This new wonderkind at quarterback for Ole Miss. And of course, LSU, I mean, I know they put up a lot of points against Southeastern Louisiana, but just watching them, they didn't look sharp. Again, I go back to the Alabama versus ULM game where Alabama looked sharp, put up 73 points, and everybody goes, well, it's ULM. And I'm thinking, yeah, but they look sharp. I thought LSU beat the heck out of Southeast Louisiana and didn't look sharp necessarily. I mean, so that's where I'm coming in with there.
It's a great game. I think I like LSU there because I think I just like LSU starting 22 more than I like Ole Miss starting 22. But beating Ole Miss at home is tough. And if Ole Miss wins this game and now they're 3-0 in the league, I mean, I know they're going to start peeking ahead to Atlanta where they've never been. No team would be more excited. Ole Miss would sell every ticket. I mean, every Ole Miss fan in the world will try to be in Atlanta for that. So in that sense, that would be kind of fun. But I like Ole Miss there. I mean, I like LSU to win, but gosh, that's going to be great.
Auburn at A&M, what a monster game. I mean, A&M coming off week. Auburn, you wonder if Oklahoma's going to beat them twice, or even if they don't beat them twice, Texas A&M may just be flat out better.
I think A&M's better than Oklahoma. I think A&M's a better team than Oklahoma. I do too, but not by a lot. Not by like. But for instance, if A&M was playing at Oklahoma, I'd probably pick Oklahoma to win.
Agreed.
But neutral field, I would like A&M over Oklahoma, and I think Auburn's going to be disappointed, and I think Auburn's going to be properly fueled for that game. Well, I don't know that they're good enough, and I don't know that they're good enough to beat Texas A&M in College Station.
I mean, the Auburn reaction right now, it is all about the referees, and you got to get your mind right. And again, I don't want to spend time on all these. It's just, I just love looking at this slate and going, God, I wish my daughter didn't have soccer this weekend.
Four matchups of undefeated teams this weekend. There are 4 different matchups of undefeated teams, and virtually this isn't true in every one of them. Almost every top 25 game that does not feature 2 top 25 teams playing against each other, the ranked team is on the road playing someone relatively dangerous.
Yeah.
There could be multiple games this weekend where a top 25 team loses to an unranked team because they're on the road playing someone pretty good.
Well, I didn't even mention Ohio State at Washington, which is kind of interesting. Then, Penn State, Oregon, which is interesting. I like
Penn State there. I do, and I bet most people are picking Oregon. I like Penn State at home.
Well, Penn State hadn't. I don't know if Oregon hadn't played anybody either. Oklahoma State so bad, but and then of course there's Bama, Georgia, and I mean Bama, Georgia to me it bugs me so much that loss to Florida State now, because we would clearly be the best game, I think, if we hadn't lost to Florida State, but we did, and it's done, and it makes as Homer Simpson said, the Chinese have the same word for crisis as they do for opportunity. That's crisis-tunity, and we have an opportunity and a crisis right now to make things a little bit better at Alabama. So let's hope they can do it. We're going to talk about not advantages. Yes, we'll talk about the advantages and the personnel when we come back. Right now, though, I want to tell you about the game cap because, hey, Jimmy, get your game cap.
I'm getting it right here.
Would you please get it?
It's atop my game ball.
Look at you. Look, you got yours, and that's wonderful. The game cap. I mean, this stuff's awesome. I got my game cap. Hang on, folks.
Oh, you did.
And I can't even take mine out of the plate. I tell you what I'll do.
I took mine out because I was going to wear it, but I sort of like propping it there.
But look, I'll tell you what I'll do. As long as you're subscribed to this channel, if you will comment And if you will promise to get somebody else to subscribe, I'll pick somebody who meets that criteria, and I'll send them this cap. I'll send it on my dime. I'll send it to you because my head is too big for standard caps. So,
Big John Freakhead.
I got a
Seinfeld episode.
Giant freakhead. Quick question for all you college football fans out there. If you could go back in time and sit front row at your school's biggest rivalry game, what hat would you be wearing? If I could wear a hat, it'd be this one. I love this hat. Even though I think Bill Curry wore that hat. For me, it'd be the game cap because I love these game caps. They aren't just hat; they're the same vintage style fans wore back in the 80s and 90s. And guess what? They still go for the same price they did way back then, which is 17 smacks, essentially $16.99 though. $16.99, not really 17. Head to thegamecaps.com, and you use promo code Locked On. And you get that cap for $16.99. Grab your team's classic bar or retro circle design and use code Locked On for an exclusive discount to get it at $16.99. $16.99, man. Because the legends wore the game. It should be noted that the legends and Bill Curry wear the game because not a legend. I mean,
he was a Mr. Irrelevant. Last pick in the draft. Then ended up being Johnny Unitas' center.
I would rather just call him Mr. Irrelevant and not mention the draft.
I went to school. Bill Curry was the coach for two of the seasons I was at school in Alabama. Bill Curry was the coach, and gosh, that seems like forever ago.
So advantages Bama v Georgia. Now I don't know as much about this Georgia team. So and the reason is. It's like it feels like they don't have a Jalen Carter,
agreed.
Somebody like that is so freakishly defensively good that you're like, oh my God. And by the way,
did you see the Eagles block that kick yesterday?
Jimmy, we should talk about Alabama in the NFL, but yesterday, I've never seen this in the NFL before. I watched 3 straight games. All 3 games had a blocked field goal within the last 2 minutes of the game. I've never seen that before.
I watched 2 of the 3. I'm not sure the third one that you're talking about. I saw the Jets block one and the Eagles block one. I'm not sure.
And then the Jets, when the Jets blocked it, their coach did this craziest pimp walk I've ever seen, and I loved it. That is such a gif.
It was
That's
the best
be a gif or a gif.
And I want to use that for years. It was so good. No, I was going to say is the interior of the Eagles defensive line blocked 2 kicks to win the game. Amazing comeback against the Rams. And there's a shot of that interior of the Eagles line, and it's Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis of Georgia, Byron Young of Alabama. So it's like Georgia, Alabama, all in the interior getting the push that won the game. And yeah, the Eagles are full of Georgia and Alabama guys, and that's why they're winners. I saw a comment this morning, couldn't agree more, from my buddy Philip Cunningham. I think he said this morning, that the message board stuff's for the fans, the petty little sniping back and forth, because they're talking about the bets that must be going on in that Eagles locker room this week.
Oh God,
there's a tremendous respect for one another in the Alabama Georgia. Yeah, they're gonna have some fun with it, but they respect each other. You know why? They were built the same way. They're built the same way. That's why this game is so fun, Alabama versus Georgia, because there's so much mirror image stuff here. And I know Luke made a great point about how, where's their Jalen Carter? Where's their Jordan Davis? Where's their freak guy on the defensive line? I would say with Alabama, it's a little similar.
Yeah.
And I think the mirror images continue to this day, in the sense that, you know why Alabama's not quite what they were in the Saban dynasty? The line of scrimmage. Not quite what they were under the height of the Saban dynasty. You know why Georgia's not going to win the national championship this year, in my opinion? Because they're not quite what they were at the line of scrimmage in 2021 and 2022 when they won it all. They're still, though, very good, and so is Alabama. It's not that these teams aren't good at the line of scrimmage. They're just not dynasty good. These teams were dynasty good at the line of scrimmage during their championship years. Right now, they're just what I would say is really good. They're really good up front. Georgia's really good up front. Alabama's really good up front. Not in dynasty mode, and I think that's what they call it on the college football video game.
I think you're absolutely right. I mean, in fact, as soon as you said that, I was like, yeah, where's our superstar on the defense?
We have good players. Overton's good.
They're good. He's really
Keenan's good.
But is he
He's good.
I mean, name somebody in the past. I mean,
Jonathan Allen. He's not Jonathan Allen. I don't think he's even Ashawn Robinson or Jaron Reed. I don't think so.
I don't think so at all.
But he's good. He's good. I'm not sitting here saying, boy, we're not good. So many fans will say we're not good because they don't compare to them. That's crazy. Who is comparing to them? Who out there compares to that? It's just an unrealistic, silly. That's a silly compare. Okay, well, Alabama in 2020 wasn't as good as the 1985 Chicago Bears. I mean, that doesn't make any sense either. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that you're not as good as you were in 2017. This is what matters. Where are you compared to all the other 2025 college football teams? That's what matters. Alabama's really good compared to all this, but not the best of the best of the best, like they were clearly for multiple years during the dynasty.
No, I'm with you on that. And, I think it's also kind of telling, especially from the Alabama side, that I think our best player is Ryan Williams, who is freakishly talented, but not a freak in terms of size and speed necessarily. I mean, he's
still has some improving to do.
He's got some improving to do. It's funny because the Cam Coleman was sort of the talk of that Oklahoma Auburn game, and I'm like, yeah, I'd still take Ryan Williams over him, but I think if I'm an NFL team, I'd take Cam Coleman first.
They're in the same conversation. Cam Coleman's better built for the NFL.
I think
he looks like an NFL wide receiver, as does Jeremiah Smith at Ohio State. They look the part more than Ryan. But I want to see what Ryan looks like, after his junior year. He had a lot of good weight from last year to this year. He could add even more. Unless, remember, I've always kind of compared him to Devontae Smith. Devontae's never really added weight, and we saw him, with the game-winning catch, yesterday. So I do think where Ryan's got to improve is all of the, quote, little things, because the big things is he's good. Georgia is going to kill themselves to limit Ryan. They're going to see Ryan, understandably, as we're not going to let him do this to us 2 years in a row. This is a heck of an opportunity for Jeremy Bernard, Isaiah Horton, Lazier Brooks, and Rico Scott.
Yeah, I agree.
Ryan's going to be doubled getting off the bus.
Yeah, I agree with you. But, I mean, having said that, so who is Georgia's best player to you? I mean, can you even is it Gunnar Stockton? Let me ask this. Another way to put this. Who do you think has the quarterback advantage? I'm telling you right now, every Georgia fan I know, and not because they're just biased, would say Gunnar Stockton. And I think every Alabama fan would say Ty Simpson. And again, not because they're biased. I think you could make a legitimate case for both.
And I'm going to cop out, not pick one here, just simply use the opportunity to say, wow, mirror image is going to be one of my themes all week. Henry say it 1,000 times. Alabama and Georgia mirror image as a quarterback. Ty and Gunnar are really similar, not just in terms of how I would rate them between 1 and 100. Like, this is how I'd rate Ty between 1 and 100. This is how I'd rate Gunnar Stockton. We're about landing on the same number there, whatever it is, between 1 and 10, 1 and 100, A, B, C, D, E, F. I mean, they're kind of the same. Not only that, they kind of come in similar packages in the sense that I think the arm talent, similar, running talent, similar size, similar age. I'm going to give Ty a slight advantage because I'm biased. And secondly, because Ty was a 5-star and I think Gunnar was a 4-star. And I do think Ty's slightly more toolsy. I mean, I would give Ty a slight edge in the arm talent and the leg talent, but Gunnar's played more. Gunnar has SEC.
Gunner's had a bigger moment.
He's had a bigger moment. He's won an SEC championship game. He's played in the playoff. I give Gunnar. So in that sense, I think this is a pretty even quarterback matchup. I think both of them are going to play similarly in the game. As a matter of fact, I think a fun bet would be looking at their numbers when the game is over, Luke. I bet regardless of who wins, I bet their numbers look kind of similar.
Who's the game bigger for coach-wise, DeBoer or Kirby? Because, again, you can say, well, Kirby's certainly – I mean, he's in no trouble whatsoever. I mean, let's not go nuts. What I'm saying, though, is If Kirby were to lose to Bama again and at home as a favorite again, I mean, the narrative that he has an Alabama problem would be overwhelming.
It is, but I think DeBoer, it's bigger for DeBoer because he has literal job issues here. If Alabama loses and now you're one step away from not making the playoff again, his job status would be in some level of trouble at Alabama. In my opinion, it's going to be more fan based than administration based. But I do think that it's fair to question DeBoer's seat would be shaky. I'm not going to call it hot, but I would call it shaky with a loss here.
Not only that, then after Georgia, all of a sudden the schedule, which is already like Herculean, you've got Vanderbilt at home, who's going to be pretty highly ranked. And if you lose, they'll be ranked clearly ahead of you. Then you've got Missouri on the road, who's going to be undefeated when you play them. Then you've got Tennessee, and then you've got South Carolina. It's just, it gets worse and worse and worse.
But it's also your Christ-opportunity, Homer's Christ-opportunity.
Yeah.
That schedule allows Alabama to crawl back into the playoff, even with a loss to Georgia. If you lose to Georgia, your playoff path is still there thanks to that schedule, because you're racking up quality assuming you're winning, you're racking up some quality wins. So the same schedule that can drown you can also lift your surfboard and you win the Hawaiian Open. Is that a thing? I don't even know that that's a thing.
I don't think that's a thing.
Is it a Hawaiian Open? Shouldn't some surf thing be called that?
The NFL season is here, and FanDuel is making sure you're ready for kickoff with a can't-miss offer. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get 300 smacks in bonus bets to use across the app, baby. Look, I love using FanDuel because it fits however you like to bet. You know, you can bet on player props or building the same game parlay or even jumping in live as the action unfolds. So are you ready to play? Download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com to place your first $5 bet at FanDuel.com. Now I want to tell you about Square. I like saying it like that. I don't know why. This episode is brought to you by Square. Your favorite neighborhood spots run on Square. I'll say it right. There are certain businesses that truly make the neighborhood feel like home, whether it's the local sports bar packed on game days, the coffee shop that knows your order by heart, grande non-fat white chocolate mocha with whip, or the corner deli that's been serving your community for decades. These are the places that bring people together. When neighborhood businesses thrive, the whole neighborhood thrives. You know what? That's true. I agree with that. Square is a proud partner of more than 4 million neighborhood businesses around the world. You can go to square.com/go/lockedoncollege. That's square.com/go/lockedoncollege to learn more. But before you go, do support your favorite neighborhood spot. You'll be happy you did. Square, see you in the neighborhood, yo.
It's a cool concept. The Square concept. It's cool.
Yeah, it is. I like it. It's very nice.
Makes me think of Ole Miss Square at Ole Miss.
I wanted to say this because, you know, with this being Georgia week, we're not going to do like a whole lot of Bama and the NFL stuff because there's just too much Georgia stuff to talk about. But shout out to Mac Jones. Starter for San Francisco, who's undefeated, I believe. And, you know, Brock Purdy's hurt and Mac Jones, he threw an interception late, which I didn't get to hear it. I was watching the game as I was watching my daughter play soccer, and I didn't get to hear the commentary, but it looked like to me the receiver didn't run all the way through the route, and it created an interception. Then Arizona ended up punting. Mac Jones gets a safety because there was holding in the end zone. It was 15-13. They punt it or kickoff or free kick or whatever. They get the ball back. Mac Jones leads them down for a game-winning kick. And you know what? I mean, kudos to Mac. I mean, he should have been in San Francisco from the jump. And I think San Francisco probably wishes they had him from the jump. And his whole career path may have been different. But just super fired up for Mac Jones. Who would have thunk that of all the Alabama quarterbacks, the two best in the NFL may be Jalen Hurts and Mac Jones versus, say, a Bryce Young versus a Tua Tagovailoa. Because Tua and the Dolphins, they're stinky bodinky.
They are the Dolphins are really bad. Mac is an awesome example, and give Shanahan a ton of credit there in San Francisco. A great example of perfect fit into a system. They have a specific system. Shanahan identified Mac Jones in college as this guy fits what what we do on offense. This is the fit. And a lot of fans in San Francisco, by the way, there was a fan revolt. People don't remember. The fans strongly preferred Trey Lance to Mac Jones. Overwhelming. And as a matter of fact, a lot of people in San Francisco say there was a poll that they took in the San Francisco Chronicle back then of, who do y'all prefer? It was like 80 or 90% Trey Lance over Mac Jones. And some people say that it changed, that ownership got involved at that point, and like, y'all can't draft Mac Jones over Trey Lance because the fans are going to revolt. And who was right? Imagine that, the coach, Shanahan. He wanted Mac. I'm 100% convinced of that. And now we see Mac Jones winning in San Francisco, not making too much of it. It's not like he threw for 490 yards and is on his way to another Pro Bowl. I'm just really happy for him. And it's a great example to all of us about how fit matters so much. Justice Haynes in Michigan, that's a fit thing, but people are making too much of it. You know why people make too much of it? Who averages more points a game, Alabama or Michigan? Alabama. Who averages more total yards per game, Alabama or Michigan? Alabama. Look, we have a good system on offense. They have a good system. We feature different things.
Yeah, I agree. And, sometimes it's, life throws you curveballs and you got to be able to hit them. So now one other thing we want to talk about basketball wise, Jaleel Bethea. Which
Bethea.
Did you find out?
It's Bethea.
Bethea, that's what I thought it was, but I wanted to be sure. Jaleel Bethea had foot surgery. Good Lord. Can the basketball team just get a break when it comes to some injuries in the freaking preseason?
And it goes back before Nate. We've had terrible basketball injury luck for decades. But someone that knows basketball better than me is going to have to chime in here. See, I read the same thing about football, and I just know that's not true. I just know football really well, and I keep up with what's going on all the other teams, not just Alabama. And people are like, oh, Alabama's got terrible injury. No, I'm saying, no, that's football. Alabama's got football luck. I mean, I wouldn't say Alabama's injury luck in football is any better or any worse than anyone else's. But basketball sure doesn't seem like it. But that may be because I'm so Alabama focused. I can't sit here and tell you what LSU's basketball injury history is. I have no idea.
Yeah, it's just, but look, again, it's crisis opportunity. I mean, there's an opportunity for somebody in there. And
they're deep in the backcourt. What do you like? Give me your starting five. That's fun. You have a starting five right now?
I mean, no, I really don't. I'm going to have to
with Bethea out.
I mean, here's the one thing. I hope Reitzel's in there. I can tell you that. I hope Reitzel's super healthy enough.
Does that put Holloway out? Or do you start Philon, Reitzel, and Holloway, which makes you very small in the backcourt?
It does make you very small.
It's not a Nate thing. It's not a Nate thing to be so short in the backcourt.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get our friend Michael Southern on the show to talk about this because he would be better to answer than I. And
I'm hearing good things about
Bethea out, I just worry. I don't know. But I tell you the other thing that came out basketball-wise was that Alabama, fortunately, is going to play at 11 o'clock in the morning, God's time, Central Time, for the St. John's game, which will be at Madison Square Garden. And I have been given some serious consideration to go in that game. And the one thing that was holding me back was it's also the same day as Alabama LSU, which almost assuredly would be a night game. So now I think you could do both. I mean, I could go to the Madison Square Garden thing if I wanted to, and then, maybe go to the Ainsworth in New York, which is an Alabama bar, and check out the LSU game. And so that would be cool.
It would. Oh, no doubt. That would be really cool. One of my buddies, down here in Mobile is doing that exact same thing already. But this is what I'm not a fan of. I'm definitely going to be in Tuscaloosa for LSU, and I don't like my football game day being so rudely interrupted by something I know. I mean, what I mean is I've got 2.5, 3 hours out of my college football game day And who knows? Maybe game day itself is there on campus. That game could be that level of big. Could be. I just hate how I'm like, why can't they play that game on Sunday or Friday? But okay.
Not only that, by the way, I'm just looking ahead. That same day you got Indiana at Penn State. That could be big, even though I hate to admit it. Indiana looked good the other day. A&M at Missouri could be big. Florida State at Clemson could be good just for Dabo's job security. Auburn at Vanderbilt.
Auburn at Vanderbilt. That's probably to be honest, that's probably a Vanderbilt win, I would say right now. But like I said, I love college basketball, and I love Alabama being this good, and I love that Alabama-St. John's matchup. But can't I just do my football and then do basketball another
Yeah, I know.
day?
I'm with you on that. I'm with you. And look, I love basketball too, but it would be better if that game were on Sunday.
I say the same thing about baseball. I like Major League Baseball. I know you don't. My Braves aren't in the playoffs. I'm still interested in the Major League Baseball playoffs, but I'm in full football mode, and I'm not good at juggling both.
All right, that's going to do it for today's pod. We'll be back tomorrow with more. Until then, roll tide, everybody.
Roll Tide.